Dylan Wright is one half of Sons of Atticus, along with Matt Joyce, and the pair were already establishing themselves as a popular country music duo at the time. Dylan became a contestant on Australian Idol earlier this year. He then won Idol, and he now has an EP out half a world away and a tour to go with it. So there's a bit to talk to him about. Hello, Dylan.
Hello there.
It's great to see you, and as now you're an idol, can call you officially Idol with a capital I. And I was watching when you won, because of course, why wouldn't I be watching? You and Denver were both on that final, and I would love to know: do you actually remember that moment, or was it a little bit like falling through space?
Oh yeah, I was so shocked. I do remember. I was so I don't know, I wasn't ready for it to have confetti falling on my head and my name being up in lights there. I was just so unsure that I'd make it through week one, really. I remember telling Matt in Tamworth, being like, all right, I'm off to Sydney. I'll see you in a week. It'll be done. I'll be back home.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it was 8 weeks later that it all wrapped up.
That's what I did actually see the two of you play in Tamworth in the World is Dog, but there were so
Yeah.
many people and I was so squashed in. I was like, I'm not going to even attempt
Yeah,
to go
it's
up.
chaos in there.
It was so look, you're already popular in Tamworth, and that was before the show started. But it is wild, yeah, to think that everything happened in real time. It wasn't like it was pre-recorded. And what also happened in real time was that after you were announced as the winner, you then had to sing straight away.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit odd. Like, how do
it's
you
a bit
prepare
much.
to do that?
I know. I had to remember lyrics and how the song went, and then my family's there, and there's tears, and yeah. As soon as I saw my girls come on stage, it was just I couldn't go anymore. So it
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was such a wild moment.
Well, also
Incredible.
because the voice is quite vulnerable to all of that emotion, right? So in order
Yeah,
to control it, to deliver is
yeah. I haven't watched that back. I don't think I could.
hard. Yeah. But even look, well before you were on Idol, you were already a very experienced singer, songwriter, and live performer. You and Matt, as Sons of Atticus, had performed a lot. I think having the skills to perform live is separate to recording in the studio. And I imagine that your live experience in the band, at the very least, meant that you were comfortable with the technical aspects of being on stage, working a microphone, and how to use your voice.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like I watched Idol growing up as well. So I was like, oh, that would be so easy. One song a week. How good's that? But it's so much more intense than I thought. It's like 12-hour days. You're sleeping 4 hours a night. You got 60 seconds, 90 seconds on stage on live TV. So there's a lot of pressure. A lot of eyes are on you. And there are a few moments where I forget lyrics all the time, even to my own songs. That's why I
Right.
have Matt there a lot of the time. But there was a few moments on stage where I'd like double up lyrics because I'd just been had that experience. If I forget lyrics, I can just kind of create new ones on the go. So it was intense, but I learnt so much, not only on stage, but in myself as well.
Mhm. And there are other things to go along with it, like photo shoots and costume fittings and all sorts of,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Media and yeah, the just I love watching behind the scenes and how it all happens, all the cameras and yeah, the costumes and the stage setup. It's incredible what happens.
so given that you were used to being in a band, right, and being a performer, guitar, all those sorts of things, singing your own songs, and obviously any musical performer plays covers at a certain point as well, but just focusing on the singing, I
Mm.
think was the first time for you that that was all there was. So what did you learn about yourself as a singer through that process?
Yeah, it was strange to just focus on singing. And they have such an amazing music group. There's four of them behind the music team, and we'd discuss. And I used to do it when I got singing lessons back in the past. Discuss what this song meant to you, what each line, where to take a breath, all these singing techniques that I'd suppressed, I guess.
Right.
But the music team, so I'd sing it a song, and they'd be like, "All right, what does that mean to you?" I'm like, "Oh, actually." Okay, now that you put it that way. So it's made me think about songs more, and even my writing's changed since coming off the show. And it's more emotive, and there's more meaning to things, especially writing with different producers, and they tell their stories. And yeah, it was a really amazing experience.
Has it made you also look at the songs you'd already created and think, okay, well, what's in there that I might want to explore?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And where I could have changed, because they brought out this voice in me that I could just go to this next level and next range. Whereas my songs in the past are kind of just stuck in a certain range. So they really helped me kind of make me blossom in a way.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, in you saying that your songs were stuck at a certain level in the past, do you think it's because you either didn't trust that you could go to different levels or you didn't know they were there?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. I think it was that not the trust in yourself to kind of take that leap because you're not singing on national TV and you're not fighting for your life every week. So I think with the show, you were just trying to give your all and be like, this is who I am, this is what I can do. Make me stick around.
Yeah. It's also an aspect I would imagine of being on that show, not just on TV and knowing people are watching, but having an audience in front of you, of getting used to being watched in a certain way. And I did
Yeah.
after you'd finished the show, you were pretty quickly out to festivals actually. And I was like, well, yeah, because this is now your natural habitat. Having
Yeah. Yeah, I was lucky. We kind of had a few things lined up already, and because I didn't think that I'd go so far in the show, but then I have such an amazing team in management and bookers and with Sony, and it just feels all so connected and such a big family. And you don't know what you're going to get after the show like that, but it's been amazing.
Well, I think it's also you embracing the opportunities. I mean, I think that was a sense for me watching you that you were really energetically open to what was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from the get-go, I wanted to learn as much as I could from the show, from the crew, from the contestants, just take it all in. I think that comes with maturity, being a bit older. I think if I was 20, it'd be a completely different story. But I've been in so many different bands and I've been playing music for 15 years. So I just wanted, this was like, oh, all right, this is my last big chance. Let's just take this for a ride.
Had you entered any competitions before? Because I don't think you'd ever been in Star Maker or anything like that.
No, no, none.
Well, that's one for one, Dylan. That's really
Yeah, I mean,
good.
I did like Little the Stedfords when I first started singing and things like that, but I was such a shy kid. Um, yeah, this is the big one.
Well, it's a very good success rate, 100%. Yeah. Now, as I mentioned at the top, you are going on the road, and your bandmate Matt Joyce is going with you. When I
Yeah,
interviewed the two of you a little while ago, it was clear that you have this very easy communication style between you, and I'm wondering if that means on stage at some things you
yeah,
already said you don't need to. This is well, can rely on Matt for the lyrics sometimes, but I'm wondering if it
yeah.
also means that some things don't need to be discussed, like it's just this flow between you.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier with him next to me. It's just like we're hanging out, jamming, with your best friend. It's pretty incredible. He'll tell some jokes, I'll tell some stories. I try to get him to sing, and he doesn't do it sometimes. I'm still trying.
He's
Uh,
really not going to do it now, though.
But no, it's awesome. So we're doing a regional tour with the two of us, and we're about halfway through this 30 run date tour, which is awesome. And he's just, I remember calling him the day after the grand final and saying, I'm not ever doing this without you. Like, you're always going to be by my side. And so, yeah, I've just got such a good connection with Matt. He's just an incredible musician and incredible guy.
Yeah. Now, I did note that one of the shows in Sydney, in fact, well, in the Sydney area is the Brass Monkey in Cronulla, which is sold out for those who
Yes.
need to go. But that's like a hometown show for you from
Yeah,
memory.
the old hometown show. Yeah, so that sold out a while ago now, which is awesome. But the night before we're playing in Bulli, so let the overflow begin.
Or maybe people might double up. Now, this
Yeah,
tour is in support of the EP, which is called Half a World Away. Part one was released in September. With the release of part two, there will be a CD of the whole EP, so folks can have that signed at your shows.
yeah,
Have you been enjoying that audience connection even more than you used to since winning Idol?
yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's so interesting to see who comes to the show. There's a lot of people who have followed me for years, and then a lot of new people who have followed from the show as well. So it's nice to see people singing along to songs that have that have been released in the past, and then being able to connect with them after the show, and they let me know how they've come across me, or someone's dragged them along because they watched the show but their friend didn't, or yeah, it's really nice.
Has anyone said, "Oh, you've changed. You've changed"?
Oh yeah, plenty, plenty. Hopefully for the best though.
So- well, absolutely. Now, you wrote all the songs on the EP. There are six of them. And while I'm not surprised that it's honest and introspective, you could have gone in the wake of Idol with that upbeat, everything's fine route, but
Yeah.
you didn't. So I'm wondering when the songs were written.
They were written after the show, in a period where it was just a bit of chaos, really. I'm a husband, I'm a father, friend, and I kind of was thrown in the deep end a bit, pulled in so many different directions, still navigating this new music full-time life.
Mhm.
So, and I wrote with different producers on each song. So we'd share stories, we'd catch up. Sometimes I've never met them before. We get a coffee and just chat. So some of the songs aren't fully my experience, but they're just, I don't know, a lifetime of experiences, I guess. So hopefully people can connect with those. But the first song, Little Lost, was just about wanting to get away from the TV land and just get lost in the country, which we love.
Yeah. As you said, doing music full time now, that's an adjustment in terms of the rhythms of your life, because yes, being a father in particular, the rhythms of small children don't necessarily go with the rhythms of music.
Yeah. Yeah, no, big time. That's why I'm trying to get them to learn guitar or piano, and then I can be their roadie.
Well, look, the family band is a great
Yeah.
idea, and Matt might like some little helpers as well. So that
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
now, "Mess of a Man" is the latest single, and I think it speaks to the theme of the EP. Being really honest, what inspired it?
Yeah, this was a friend going through some experiences. There was four of us writing on this track. And we'd written a few songs together, the four of us, and we kind of threw the idea of just creating something completely different to what we had been writing. So there is a tempo change in the song. In the chorus, it goes down tempo, which was just so interesting to me. I've never done that, never thought of doing that. And then one of the boys threw out a line, mess of a man. And it kind of became this kind of a heartbreak kind of song, which I have never really written about. So it was kind of nice to, in a way, put that in the mix because I find each song so different on this EP as well. So yeah, I guess it's kind of just that little bit of difference.
It goes down tempo, but then your vocal kicks up, I think, at the same time. So interesting
Yes.
for you as a
Yeah.
singer to play with that.
Yeah, it kind of that's the thing with Idol, finding that range. And when we play it live with the band, we all just like look at each other and it's like, oh, this feels so good.
Now, another track that's on the back half of that EP is Back to You. And in it, you talk about searching for a feeling you thought you'd lost. You mentioned needing something, needing Jesus, needing anything to help. And I saw on your social media that recently you were baptized, and that's
Yes.
a commitment to faith, or a recommitment to faith at least. Have you always been a man of faith?
Yeah, I have. And I'd go to Sunday school with my nana, growing up, and then I'd go to church with my mum, and we'd have discussion about religion, from Buddhist to Islam to Christianity. I've always had this fascination with religion. And she passed away 10 years ago. So when that happened, I kind of just stopped going to church, stopped looking at anything like that. Like, why could that happen to me, or why could that happen to anyone? And then, yeah, over the past year, year and a half, I kind of went through a lot of different changes in myself and was quite down. Became back to reading the Bible just as a book that people have read for thousands of years. And yeah, I kind of came back to that and it made me feel not so alone and full of love and life once again. So it was just an incredible timing with going on the show and now coming into this full-time music role. It's been such a huge help. And I'd never push it down anyone's throat. It's something you've got to find yourself, but yeah, it really came back to me.
I think it's, yeah, what you're talking about there is an expansiveness of worldview. And I tend to think it's not a coincidence, therefore, that you've had these experiences this year, because as your worldview shifted and you opened yourself
Mm.
up to love or
Yeah.
and life, these other things came into that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's yeah, it's profound, really. And so I've always wanted to be baptized. And when mum passed away, I was like, oh, no way. But it just felt the right time to not be in any one single denomination or anything. And I just went back to my old hometown of Cronulla, asked a friend who's a minister if he was up for it to dunk me, and he was happy to dunk.
Yeah. And done you were. I also think sometimes music is an expression of faith. You know, it's faith in art,
Yeah.
it's faith in connection, it's faith in hope, and it's faith in the future in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of my music talks a lot about faith. With songs that I've released in the past that not many people would probably pick up on as well. I kind of just put it in there cryptically throughout the years. And yeah, so Back to You was a big song to kind of have that release and acknowledgement, I guess.
So once the tour is done and the EP is out, are you even thinking ahead to what's beyond that? Is it just like I'm just going to enjoy this moment and be present and go
No, always thinking.
right?
Always being present, but always thinking. Yeah, I'm never stop writing, never stop planning. Music is such a huge part of my life, and I never want to stop touring, never want to stop writing, even if that's for other people or myself. But I just have such a big connection with music, and I just wanted to keep the hitting the ground running.
Well, I think we can hear your connection with music in the songs, which sounds a little dull actually when I say it like that, but your heart is really in it, I think, and we can hear that in your voice. And I have no doubt that's what people are responding to and will respond to on the EP and the tour. Dylan, a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations again, and
Thank you.
congratulations on the EP.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.